Hello, and I'm just gonna start off with some shoutouts. Ankit Sharma and Ian Gaming GT. Please subscribe to them, like their videos, and now let's begin. I'm gonna be using the NBC News one because it is good. So I'm gonna I'm gonna see the G20 summit now. So the G20 nations agree on trade, migration, now climate change. The G20 19 nations agreed to support the Paris Accord, 19, on fighting climate change with the United States the lone holdout. That's kind of obvious, as Trump withdrew from the G20, not from the Paris Accords, and I don't like that personally, so he should have agreed. Buenos Aires, Argentina, Easier 20 agreed on Saturday to fix the world trading system after difficult all-night talks in the Argentine capital, but only 19 of them agreed to support the Paris Accord on fighting climate change, with the United States still on hold. So, in Paint 3D, I used to use this, but that's another story for another time. The official summit statement acknowledges the flaws in global commerce and calls for reforming the World Trade Organization. It doesn't mention the word protectionism. However, negotiators and resistance from the United States. So, of course, Trump came into this, obviously, anti-Putin after what they did in to Ukraine, and anti-Saudi Arabia, what they did to Khashoggi. So, he had a lot on his hands. He wasn't gonna really, and he was getting criticized from other world leaders 2 weeks ago. So it was gonna be very hard for Trump to get what he wanted. But I think the G20 went pretty well. He did end up getting better relationships with Macron, May, and many others. But he was very good. He didn't do anything with Putin and Saudi Arabia's crown prince. So that's good. That's very good. And they made trade agreements which Trump wanted. So the USMCA is now in. Everybody agreed. It's starting to. So we're starting to use it. So that's a win for Trump, of course. It's a win for Mexico's president. Tell me if I'm wrong here. And for Canada's Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau has to be in the G20 summit. I recall saying, yeah, right here. Okay. So applause broke out of the summit as the leaders, including the U.S. President Trump, signed off the final statements to end the two-day summit. The non-binding agreement was reached after talks by diplomats stretched overnight into daylight on Saturday, amid deep divisions between member nations. The European Union officials said the United States would remain holdout on nearly every issue. Trump has criticized the World Trade Organization and taken aggressive trade policies targeting China and the EU. So, Trump basically this says the World Trade Organization is bad for America, so we give China and the EU tariffs. Okay, well, that's kind of been sorted out. But China also pushed back in talks on steel, South Africa objected to language on trade. Australia didn't want the statement to be too soft. Migration, and Turkey worried it would be too far on climate change, according to officials. So everybody has like their own little problem. And so like China pushed back, still like objected to trade and all the like languages of trade. So a senior White House official said a joint statement meets with the U.S. objectives and stressed out it includes languages about the WTO reforms. The official also noted that elements such as language on workforce development and women's economic development and commitment by China to do infrastructure financing on transparent terms. So countries agreed to stuff, especially China, like building infrastructure on transparent terms. So, according to the official language on climate was necessary for Washington to sign on, and Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Russia had appeared sympathetic to the U.S. position, but ultimately stayed with the other countries. So, I guess some countries might be against the Paris Climate Accords, and they appear to stay sympathetic. But of course, it's these three countries: Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Russia. And with trade tensions between the US and China dominating the summit, Europeans sought to play mediator. They also scaled their many expectations, cutting out mention of writing protectionism mainly aimed at Trump. So the EU was trying to get like onto the world stage. I guess they kind of did that. The final language of the statement says, regarding climate, the 19 nations that are signatories to the Paris Accord reiterate their commitment to it, while the U.S. reiterates its decision to withdraw. It also notes a recent UN report warned damage from global warming will be worse than previously feared. Expressed support for the upcoming UN climate meeting in Poland meant to nail down how countries will make promises in the Paris Accord. Okay, so this is where you get into annoying stuff. 19 nations agreed, except for Trump, and all of them, just said, "Yeah, we're gonna still do this." And Trump says, "We're still not gonna do this." So there was another UN report which I think Trump should listen to. It says that global warming will be worse than previously feared, and expressed support of an indirect. The climate change is going to be even worse, and it's meant to nail down how countries will make promises made on the Paris Accord. So there's going to be a meeting in Poland. Hopefully Trump comes back on there. That would make him popular on the world stage, but not in the nation. Well, with his base, I guess. On the global commerce, the statement says 20 countries support multilateral trade, but acknowledge the current system doesn't work and needs fixing via the necessary reform of the WTO to improve its function. On migration, Europe officials said that U.S. negotiator said too much talk. It had been a deal breaker for Trump. Okay, let's see here. So 20 countries support the fixing of the trade agreement and all that. So maybe this means good news for Trump, like maybe stopping the trade war. And then migration, negotiators said much talk it could have been a deal breaker for Trump, so they came up with a minimalist language and acknowledges growing migrant flows and the department's efforts to support refugees and solve problems that drive them to flee. Well, actually, that's kind of good if you're gonna keep on deporting them, they're just gonna come back in. So I guess we're gonna try and fix the problem, so there's no point of moving anymore. The statement also shows commitment to rules-based international order despite Trump's rejection of many of those rules. So, it's not done yet. Okay, this is never gonna end at this point. Let me just, so, it was kind of tense. So, that's something. Uh, so, Tom Byrne is a Canada Center for International Governance Innovation was leading roles in International Monetary Fund to the World Bank and Canadian government, said the G20 had veered all over the road and the summit failed to truly fix trade. So I guess maybe they didn't, that's only by 1%. Instead of leader spirit, it difficult differences in absurd language and dropped language to fight protectionism, which had been included in every G20 common quest since the leaders' first summit, he said. This is clearly a retrograde step towards the United States. Well, so some people think it wasn't good. That's how bland they could put it. The question is whether we are wearing the G20 in the process. So this is a big hit to credibility of the G20 and emphasizes resilient leadership in addressing global problems. Perhaps surprisingly, one country that has been conservative is Russia. So with all of the stuff happening, that's kind of surprising. While the statement isn't legally enforceable, the Europeans still see it as a proof that the G20 is still relevant and multilateralism still works. Everyone agrees the WTO should be reformed. Okay. But also the clear signal in any case, most of us for to succeed. The global climate talks starting in Poland on Sunday. So some people want reform, especially in the WTO. So Merkel's spokesperson said that during the meeting with Russian Vladimir Putin, she also was concerned about rising tensions in the Kerch Strait of Crimea, freeing shipping Sea of Azov. So last week we noticed the Russians seized Ukrainian ships and crew members and never gave it back. And Germany and France sought to mediate between Russia and Ukraine. Merkel spokesperson Stephen Seibert said she and Putin agreed for four countries held farther at the advisor level. So we're getting into the final parts. Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping were due to meet later on Saturday after the summit closed. Their countries have been embroiled in escalating trade wars with the New Year's tariffs on China. Good set to take effect a month from now. So hopefully this all could change, I guess, because I don't like tariffs. And it didn't go into implementation yet, so they have a chance to take out the trade war between the US. Does not favor international commerce. The fight between the two big players does not benefit. Yeah, of course it doesn't. So in closing remarks, the summit host, Argentinian President Mauricio Macri said the countries had overcome a number of challenges. Okay, that's good. And we have agreed to a statement that reflects the necessity of revitalizing trade. Revitalizing the WTO, we ratified the concern of everyone over climate change. The next G20 summit is to be held in Osaka, Japan in June 2019. Okay, so pretty good. And thank you for watching. I know this is kind of longer, but please like, share, subscribe, and everything else. See you in the next video. Bye.